Hello, I'm Bob Israel. Welcome to the Culinary Kitchen at USA Integrative Health. March is Nutrition Month, and March 14th is National Pie Day. So our goal today is a healthy pie. It's going to be a savory pie, or a pie that's got butternut squash and greens in it, and it has a whole wheat crust. So it's a healthy, good pie. A great way to celebrate National Nutrition Month and National Pie Day. So what we have here, I've already sauteed some greens with onions, and then I roasted butternut squash and roasted it at 450 for about 40 minutes, cut it and placed it in here. This has onions, herbs, which include a little marjoram, fresh marjoram from my garden, and fresh thyme. You could put sage, any number of other tasty herbs in there. And the last flavoring we're going to add, it has salt and pepper in it, is nutmeg. So this is a whole nutmeg, and we're just going to grate this into the greens, and nutmeg will give it sort of a distinctive flavor. And then we're going to have beaten eggs here with some Gruyere cheese. We're going to add the greens and squash to this and mix it up so that it'll be ready once we have the pie crust rolled out and in the pie pan. So we'll sort of just give this a couple of good stirs to make sure everything's together. The eggs and the cheese will sort of make this thing set, and it'll have a fairly solid consistency once it's cooked. So that looks good. And now I'm going to take this yeasted whole wheat pie crust, and it's a really tasty dough. It's pretty easy to work with, as opposed to some pie dough which really breaks and splits easily. I guess I shouldn't hex myself by saying it's easy to work with until I've already worked it into a good circle. But what we want to do, this is a 9-inch pie plate. We want to roll this out so there's just a little bit of extra hanging over the edges, which we'll then try to make look attractive by crimping it. That may fit. You don't want to stretch it too much or you'll tear it, but it is a pretty forgiving crust as opposed to one that's not yeasted and hadn't risen and doesn't have olive oil in it. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now we'll just pour the filling in. Hope it fits, which it seems to be doing pretty well. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little more cheese on top, just because I like cheese. And cheese is okay in moderation. This is only about 2 ounces of cheese for the whole pie. And that's already a pretty plate, but we're going to sort of crimp these edges. If I was a real pie maker, I could really make this thing look pretty, but I'm not a great artist for that. But anyway, I think it'll look reasonably good. So there we go. And now we're going to take this over and put it in the oven. It's a 375 oven that will cook for about 50 minutes, and then we'll pull it out and let it sit for 5 minutes or so and see how it is. Okay, so we're at about 45 minutes, and I'm looking at the pie, and it's looking like it may be done, so we're going to test it and see. The edges are browning. but what I'll show you is how to test it to see if it's done. I'm just going to take a sharp knife and pierce down through it. And it looks like it's probably there. So there's nothing clinging to the knife when it comes out. And if it weren't done, it should cling to the knife. So we're going to let it rest for 5 minutes or so, and then we'll cut it and see. All right, now it's the telling moment. I'm going to try to take this pie out of this pan. It could be a mistake or not. Oh, it worked. Oh, it's set. It looks good. And I think that's got some nice pretty color in it for National Pie Month or National Pie Day. And it's very nutritious. Bon appetit.